This episode is brought to you by The Farmer's Dog, a service that delivers gently cooked, freshly made pet food straight to your door. Each balanced recipe is developed by board-certified nutritionists and clinically proven to support healthy aging. The Farmer's Dog, guided by science, driven by love. New customer? Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/Spotify. Plus, you get free shipping.
So good, so good, so good.
New year, new gear. Thousands of fresh active styles are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Save on top brands like Nike, Puma, and Free People, starting at just $35.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
There's always something new.
Plus, join the Nordy Club to shop new arrivals first, unlock exclusive discounts, and more. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
This is Optimal Health Daily. Single versus double kettlebell training by Leija of ericleija.com, and I'm Dr. Neil. Hey there, happy Tuesday and welcome back to Optimal Health Daily, where I simply read to you from the best health and fitness blogs for free. And on Fridays, that's where I answer your questions. You can send in your question by going to oldpodcast.com/ask, or you can email your question directly to health@oldpodcast.com. All right, with that, let's jump right in and hear today's article and continue optimizing your life. Single versus double kettlebell training by Leija of ericleija.com. One heavy kettlebell or two lighter ones or two heavy ones? Does it matter? If you're diving into kettlebell training this year, these are natural and relevant questions. Here, I'll break down whether one option is quote-unquote better for your training and what differences you can expect during single and double kettlebell movements. Single versus double kettlebell training. Is one style better? One of the key differences between single kettlebell training and double kettlebell training comes down to the effect on your core. Now, make no mistake, working with two kettlebells definitely works your core, simply due to the nature of the asymmetrical weight of the kettlebell itself. As they shift in your hands, your core muscles, which are more than just your abs, they actually wrap around your torso, chest, hips, and glutes, those muscles tighten in order to stabilize your body so that you don't lose your balance. Working with one kettlebell at a time, however, takes this up a notch. Now, all of the weight is on one side of your body, so the opposite side of your core has to work in order to keep you upright. This is awesome because these muscles are often underdeveloped, either from not training or from only training in one plane of movement with stabilized weights, like, say, heavy squats on a machine. That's because the machine does most of the stabilizing. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean single kettlebell training is better than double. It simply means that if you switch to one, you may get more stabilization effects. One way that pure single kettlebell training may not be as valuable is during heavy ballistic style exercises as a beginner. During ballistic exercises like swings, cleans, high pulls, and snatches, your body requires that core stabilization we spoke of earlier. If this isn't developed because you're a beginner, you could risk pulling something out of alignment, like your back, by trying to make a go at it using a heavy single bell. In this case, if you have heavy bells, you can work on developing overall core stabilization and strength using two bells to become accustomed to the movement before moving on to trying with a single bell, since the pull on your core will be less, but it will still be worked. If you're working with a lighter weight, you can obviously start trying out these moves, but for safety's sake, you always want to make sure your body is stable enough to handle them and their weight. Versatility. Another variable to consider is your intention and workout program, whether it's your own or if you're following one. There are literally hundreds of kettlebell movements, and some require only a single bell, while some require two bells. You want to make sure you know what movements you intend to perfect and utilize the most, so that you have what you need. This is why I recommend, if you have the budget and space, you get a good, heavier set, meaning two kettlebells, and perhaps one lighter bell for high rep work, so that you have options. When investing in two kettlebells is a win. Obviously, if you're just starting out, you might opt to stick with one kettlebell of a specific weight. Now, there's nothing wrong with this, and obviously it isn't an end-all be-all, considering you can simply grab another when you need to. But keep in mind that the weight you start with will eventually become too light to work with, especially if gaining strength is your goal. However, if you choose to grab 2 kettlebells of the same weight, you can combine them to immediately create a heavier load. In this case, doubling up can give you more weight and more time before you go heavier. You can still work core stabilization with 2 kettlebells and even without kettlebells, so take that into account as well. The bottom line: both single and double kettlebell training offer epic body-wide benefits and targeting. Single kettlebell training may offer more core stabilization challenges due to the asymmetrical nature of holding one weight. You can use 2 kettlebells to increase weight and load for things like squats and deadlifts, extending the life of lighter bells before you grow out of them. Starting out with ballistic exercises like cleans, snatches, etc., using 2 kettlebells instead of 1 can reduce risk of injury as you build the movement memory and core stabilization required to perform these with a single bell. And one form of training is not better than the other. They simply offer different benefits at different times. You just listened to the post titled Single versus Double Kettlebell Training by Eric Leija of ericleija.com, and I'll be right back with my commentary.
This message may be shocking to many millennials. If you are one, you might want to sit down. Right now, loads of people are searching the following on Depop: low-rise jeans, halter top, velour tracksuit, puka shell necklace, disc belt. You likely placed these in the dark of your closet in 2004, never to be seen again. But if you can find it in yourself to dust them off, there are a lot of people who will give you money for them. Sell on Depop, where taste recognizes taste.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast? Smart move. Being financially savvy? Smart move. Another smart move? Having State Farm help you create a competitive price when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Dr. Neil here for my commentary. Training with kettlebells is such a different experience than, say, training with dumbbells or barbells. Let's say you don't have access to kettlebells. Is there a substitute for them? Unfortunately, there is no perfect substitute, but a traditional dumbbell is probably your best bet. Now, as Eric mentioned in today's article, a kettlebell is unique because of the way its weight is distributed. Picture what a dumbbell looks like. You've got 2 bells separated by a bar in the middle. This creates an even distribution of weight. But a kettlebell is only 1 bell, and you hold it just by using 1 handle from the top. This makes it more challenging to move around. But the good news is, if you want to perform some kettlebell-type exercises and you don't have access to any, it's not the end of the world. You could substitute a dumbbell instead. Just know it probably won't behave exactly like a kettlebell would, and you're going to have to hold the dumbbell a little bit differently so that it more closely mimics a kettlebell. All right, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening every day. I hope you're having a great week so far, and I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.